Black men, just admit it. You don't like seeing women in charge.
And as a black man, why should we fear the rise of a black woman? Any black man that has an issue with a black woman rising, then they have to look at their own inadequacy. What would make you so fearful of someone who was so beloved of you, who was so beloving to you, like your mother and your grandmother and your aunts and your sisters, that you cannot be proud and embolden yourself when you see someone from your community rise up? And I say to those black men who have an issue politically, you have every right to say, what have you done for me?
About black men who just refuse to vote for Kamala. Just refuse. Try to hide it under something else. They can't even verbalize why they refuse, man. Like she on some bullshit. You're still a prisoner of the system. You still don't believe women can control stuff. Even black women can run something. You just don't see that. See, because we're men.
What did Khadijah say? Gag it. Because, sis, you're really clocking tea, and black men are not ready to have that conversation. Because at the end of the day, what is the black man trying to work towards? Being closest to and being the most similar like? The white man.
You know what's really wild? Just looking at my ex post where I called for black people to question their political candidates. And it's crazy to see how the comment section is filled with black people calling me all types of coons and sellouts and traitors and all of this, but Trump. But no one is taking responsibility or accountability for holding their political candidates to a standard of accountability. Your only response is, but Trump, insulting me for daring to criticize the candidate that was hand-selected for you, who you didn't vote for, by the way. The same candidate who has not done a press conference yet to answer the tough questions.
So this is what they're now saying in order to try to lure black men into voting a certain way. And I know coming from other black men, it sounds very convincing. But is it true? So welcome back to Samba News. I'm your host, Dwayne. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today, we're going to take a closer look at this issue and how black men are being entreated to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States. Now, look, personally, I don't care who you vote for this election. It really doesn't matter to me personally. That's your choice. But we all know that during every election season, it always brings out the worst in people, especially black folks against other black people. If you vote for him, you're going to go back into slavery. You're an Uncle Tom. Coon, your mama. What? I know you ain't talking about my mom. I know you ain't talking about my mom. We are literally reenacting this over and over again over a tiny group of people that have made very clear that they're not going to do anything specifically for black people.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
The truth is that black men in this country have a long history of loving, caring, and supporting our black women. And I, for one, am not going to allow
I'm black just like you, deep fried with some vindaloo. I'm even an AKA
to wreck that all up over some votes. I mean, this whole entire narrative, it sounds like it was crafted by old Gloria Steinem herself. I mean, this is like a 1920s narrative that they're trying to pass as a truth in 2024. I mean, it's just plain ridiculous. I mean, they make it seem as if women inherently come packaged with law, justice, and order. That doesn't even work for men. Well, I think we need to head back to the office. I need to show you something.
Okay, so look, at the end of the day, regardless if you're a man or a woman, we make mistakes. And it's just how it is. But not only that, we also make some very bad decisions. Check out these examples.
Xavier University professor and political pollster Dr. Silas Lee says in recent weeks, he's noticed a change in New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell's leadership.
Due to the legal challenges surrounding her, now you see less visibility and communication from the mayor in reference to voters in a time of high anxiety.
Last month, Cantrell's former bodyguard, Officer Jeffrey Vappy, was indicted on 7 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of false statements. The indictment does not name Cantrell or charge her with any crime, but it refers to her as Public Official 1. It alleges she was in a romantic relationship with Vappy for years and participated in his alleged scheme to cover it up.
Tonight, Killeen City Council members are holding a public special meeting to vote on removing public comment time at meetings for issues that are not on the agenda.
So, you want to take away our right to speak about non-agenda items because we can't get anything on the agenda.
My city council put this on there to take away my right as an American to speak. You want to take away anybody's voice because it makes you uncomfortable? Because we don't agree with you, Madam Mayor? Because you disrespect by not even acknowledging somebody sitting up here talking to you? You want to play with everything else up there. That's why I wish there was a split screen up here. I wish there was a split screen up here so that way anybody online can see you and how you disrespect those that are up here when we were speaking on these items. They're right here.
You won't meet with us in person? How many times have I stood right here and said, we can go in that little conference room over there. We can have an honest, intellectual, adult back and forth. You refuse to do it. You don't answer emails. You don't like what I have to say. I don't care. I have the right to say it. So does everybody else who gets up here. They have that right, whether I agree with them or disagree with them. That is a God-given right.
So I am the mayor, and I do take a lot of attacks up here. And the reason I don't speak on non-agenda items is not that I'm weak, that I'm afraid, but that is beneath me.
The $500 tickets to see Michelle Obama. Is it frivolous or city business? In Forest Hill, it divided the city, so much so that today the mayor pro tem, resigned. Rodney Blackburn was there when it all went down.
The purpose of this evening's meeting,
the public hearing, was over
to address certain allegations
before it ever began.
Motion carries.
Mayor Lyndia Thomas and Mayor Pro Tem Becky Hayes resigned before they could answer questions.
Because I will not leave my fate in the hands of individuals.
When Michelle Obama came to Dallas last month on her book tour,
so let me just say,
they were there, sitting in some of the most expensive seats in the House.
They were $545.
More than $500 each. Hayes bought the tickets and afterwards was reimbursed out of the city's public relations budget.
My comment is public comment.
Grasping a gold microphone, Tiffany Henyard faced questions she, for the most part, refused to answer.
When you don't answer questions, there's something to hide.
No, Madam Supervisor, we are not brainwashed. We are fed up.
Henyard is under siege in both of the public offices she holds, Thornton Township Supervisor and Dalton Mayor. The most recent controversy involves a taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas, in which a Dalton trustee is accused of sexual misconduct against a village employee. The woman claims in a lawsuit she and a member of Henyard's security detail, who was also on the trip, faced retaliation after reporting it to Henyard.
A favor from that woman regarding something that was over at Duncan Tail. Where is it? What date was it?
Oh, from yes. Jerome took it upstairs. I have to call him. He took it up when I switched out the papers. I'll call him as soon as you get here.
I don't want you to do a goddamn thing. I want you to have a fucking brain. I want you to have read it. I want you to say, Congresswoman, it was such and such date. That's what I want. That's the kind of staff that I want to have. So some stupid other motherfucker did it, and I don't have the information. Nobody sent me the information. I need to ensure my schedule. And, if Boo-Boo did it, shit-ass did it, fuckface did it, and nobody knows a goddamn thing in my office. Okay? Nothing. I gave it to you. Your job was to get it on the calendar, imprint it in your brain, or send me the information back saying, Congresswoman, I made sure that the Ovi Duncan Tell event that you gave me for so-and-so date at 7 is on the fucking calendar. Not to, Jerome has it. Okay? So when I called Jerome, he gonna be sitting up there like a fat-ass, stupid idiot talking about what the fuck he doesn't know. Okay? Both of y'all are fuck up a fucking F. It's the worst shit that I could have ever had put together. Two goddamn big-ass children. Fucking idiots. Serve no goddamn purpose. Ain't managing nobody. Nobody's respecting them. Nobody gives a shit about what you're doing. And you ain't doing shit. And this is an example of it. I gave it to Jerome. This is not child's work. Okay?
Now, if you didn't notice, all of these examples I just gave to you were all women. But, I could have just as easily selected a whole list of men in similar positions who have made some ridiculous decisions, just like these women have. But I think you get the point. Now, in all of these examples that I just gave to you, these black female politicians had black men supporting them. Are these black men now responsible for how it turned out? Or were there signs that they saw ahead of time, but for one reason or another, they chose to ignore it?
I remember you suggesting a number of names that were not seconded or not voted through. Some other trustees were suggesting names that were not voted through. So it comes all the way down to 12 minutes before midnight on the legal deadline. This is in March of 2022 now. And it was you who 12 minutes before midnight said, I nominate Tiffany Henyard. And that was the first name that was actually voted for by the rest of the trustees. So then just a handful of minutes before midnight, Tiffany Henyard is sworn in as the supervisor of Thornton Township. Put us in Chris Gonzalez's mind, 12 minutes before midnight. What was your thinking in nominating her after this long process?
I mean, just as a whole, I just felt that I was hoping we could get somebody that was a little bit younger for the role. I felt it was time that we, possibly, and I mean, I wasn't like honed in on that, but a woman. I just thought that would be somebody, that was a little bit younger, a woman. So that's kind of where I was. I'll be honest, I really didn't know at that time a whole lot of the, that there was already some controversy and things like that, a little bit that was going on in Dalton, say. Sure. So I didn't really know about that. And that was also something that, I mean, obviously there, just on the surface, there was a little bit of experience there. She had been a trustee, just became mayor. Kind of a town that you might have had as a base as far as just like, once again, coming from that there might be some experience and things like that there. Yeah. She went straight to Frank's office and, sat in the chair and she just kept basically yelling, what are they going to think now? What are they going to say now? Speaking of the Dalton trustees, because I guess, like I said, there was already a rift and I didn't know that. So I'm thinking I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And then so I went to Keith on the side and I said, what is she talking about? I said, is the board against her in Dalton? And he said, yeah. And I said, who? He's like, everybody. And he was like proud of it. And at that time, I mean, I already was like, what did I do?
So now you have black men who are bringing up issues like this, and for whatever reason, we're the bad guys for even bringing it up. But this is what's happening.
That only ever worked for men. And there was one day at work where I was like, ma'am, you might be the last woman I work for, because this is there's a story there. It's a lot.
So now we have black men who are bringing up issues like this, and instead of it being a point of let's investigate this further because this is a major decision, black men are getting attacked for even bringing up anything. So no, let's just from the top. This has very little to do with any kind of misogyny or that you have just most black men just have an issue with seeing a woman in charge. We've already destroyed that in this video because that's not the case at all. The problem is that we live in a society today where people don't want to ask questions. If you're not going along with them, then you're the bad guy. And part of being a man, period, is asking these hard, difficult questions. That's something that us as men should be doing anyway. But really, that's not just limited to men. Women should be doing this as well. And people shouldn't be attacked for it. And whatever decisions that people make by asking these tough questions based on the answers that they get, if people decide to say, hey, I'm not going to go this way or I'm going to go that way, then let it be their choice. Why do we have to resort back to this nonsense of attacking people simply because they're asking questions? So what do you think? I mean, I think I made a pretty good case in this video, but are these attacks even justified? I mean, are these, are men generally misogynistic because they don't want to see a woman in charge at all? Or is it something else? I would love to hear what you got to say in the comments below. But again, thank you so much for tuning in to this video. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time.